Hi everyone, welcome back to Here We Are, Brattleboro's community talk show. Today we are so lucky because we have someone from the high school on, which is always a treat. We have Leo Mousseau. Leo is a senior at Brattleboro Union High School. He is a musician and an actor, and he's performed in many musicals and plays at the high school, at New England Youth Theater, and the Actors Theater Playhouse in Chesterfield, including a stage reading at La Mama Playhouse in New York City. At BUHS, Leo is a teacher's assistant and also serves on the school's student-led Restorative Justice Panel. Currently, Leo is working on a short film titled Natural Means. Welcome, Leo.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, it's excellent to have you on the show. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Just everything in that intro, if we can do that, we'll be in good shape.
All right.
So, Leo, you live in Marlboro, but you weren't born in Marlboro.
No, I was born in Arizona, and yeah, I lived there for the first year of my life. And then, you know, things got crazy around the places where we lived, and so my parents were like, we're getting out of here. And they converted a school bus into a RV-like thing and painted it green. And then we drove all the way here from Arizona.
What made you come to Brattleboro?
Well, I think we were just driving for a really long time, and we thought it was beautiful and ended up here.
You ended up here.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a little sister.
Okay, so the little sister was along with you for the ride?
No, she was born here. She's 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's a natural Brattleborian.
Yes.
Yeah. You come to Brattleboro, you're growing up as a kid. What kind of interest did you have as a little kid?
I mean, so an interesting thing actually about that all is, since we were driving when I was a little kid and then we were living here in various places, it wasn't like I was exposed to anything more than the DVDs we had or anything. So I don't know, shockingly, I played outside, and we had this whale stuffed animal, and I put like a string on it, and I would play it and call it my whale guitar. Yeah.
You really wailed.
I really did. I really wailed. Yeah.
That's great.
Just make stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you started young, and you played the guitar.
Yeah.
So you kind of followed through with that.
Yeah.
And during that, the time, like say, into middle school, were there any big influences in your life? Anything that really compelled you or interested you?
I mean, yeah. Nothing like too specific, but I guess family, people around me. I didn't like go to any concerts and see it, and it was like my ex machina moment or anything.
So you were in school in Marlboro, which I always heard was a really wonderful elementary school. And so that was kind of your cohort instead of Brattleboro at that point, right? And so you come to the middle school?
No, I went to middle school there.
Oh, they go to 8th grade.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So you've been in the high school now this is your 4th year there.
Yeah.
When did the acting thing start happening?
The acting thing started happening my freshman year, right at the end. I saw the school's musical my freshman year. It was Something Rotten. And it kind of blew me away. And I was like, I want to do that. So I signed up for their spring play at the end of the end of the year, not the day. And the rest is history.
The rest is history in the making.
Yes, true.
That's true. Well, that's pretty great. And so you, when you were doing this at the high school, did you also start participating with New England Youth Theater? I haven't done actually too much there. I've done, I think, 3 things there. And yeah, the summer of my freshman year into my sophomore year, I did a play there called Learned Ladies, and that was my introduction to there. And it's an older play. We have a lot of theater.
Yeah, we do. It's actually really amazing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And it's actually exciting. I mean, and most recently you did Hadestown, the teen edition.
Yes.
Yes, which is a take on a Greek myth. Did you enjoy that show?
Oh, yes.
It sounded like it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite. That's been my #1 musical that I've loved for years. And so dream come true.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. But you've also been in Our Town, Mamma Mia, Radium Girls. Last summer, I believe you were in Lifespan of Effect
Yes.
at the Actors Theater, which was a little unusual to have a kid in it or a youth in it.
Yeah, I think I shocked a lot of people by being there, actually.
And this was directed by Bert Tepfer.
Bert Tepfer, yeah.
Yes, and there weren't that many actors.
No, there was
Right?
only 3 people, and actually, funny thing, I just did a reading with him yesterday.
Really?
With another play and 2 different actors.
So that might be a summer production?
No, they already have their schedule all filled out. So he said someday he'd like to do this show.
Oh, nice. That's nice. Did you enjoy working on that kind of a small group of people?
I do like it a lot.
Yeah.
There's more room for focus and growth.
Leo, all of this acting and taking on a character, that seems to be something that you're very comfortable doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's it like to step into someone else's shoes?
Well, it depends on whose shoes I'm stepping into. I've played, some examples are, I played Henry Drummond in Inherit the Wind. And that was an amazing role because he's someone that the audience is cheering for. It's about a school teacher who's put on trial in a really conservative and Christian town for teaching evolution to his class. And so he gets put on trial, and Drummond, the character I played, was his lawyer, and it's a court show. And he kind of comes into this town and tears it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that, and that was really different from a little bit before, where I played Tricitan, who in Learned Ladies, who is this character who is a poet, and he's manipulative, and he's really aggressive towards one of this family's daughters. And so really it depends on the character.
Yes.
Because it's kind of icky to play
Yeah,
a character like that.
You played a few villains.
I played a lot of villains.
Yeah, you have.
Yes.
Not that that's saying anything, but
No.
it's interesting. It's interesting, and I would think it would be a challenge to.
It's really hard.
Yeah, to take on those kinds of characteristics that are foreign to you.
Yeah. I mean, I played Bill Sykes and Oliver recently. And
So
yeah.
So you're doing a lot of singing and dancing as well.
Ooh, dancing, I don't know, but
No. Singing.
yeah, singing.
Singing.
Some singing.
And you enjoy that part as well?
It's really scary compared to the acting, but yeah, eventually I do.
Yeah.
I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But
Yeah. But that
in the
was new
moment,
for
I'm
you.
like, yeah.
Mamma Mia, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of singing there. In a lot of these productions at BUHS, you obviously have had a director. And I know Rebecca Kirsten
Yes.
has been there. I don't know if she's been in every single production, but you've worked with her quite a bit.
Yeah, I have. I've worked with three directors at BUHS, and they've all been very different experiences. And Miss Kirsten does the musicals and the fall plays, and she's been very helpful for my journey. And I'm TAing an freshman English class with her now, which is really nice.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
We've been doing adaptations of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh.
Yes, and some of these kids come up with the funniest stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, I bet that's fun. And also you having been a freshman, 3 years ago, and to sort of be able to champion them, at that age. Yeah, it must be fun.
Yeah, it's actually, I highly support the TA program at the school, because I feel like I've been able to steer kids and help them figure out a little bit of what they want, because you're really confused when you're a freshman.
Well, there's that, and also someone who is closer to their age. I would think there'd be a great comfort level in that as well. So that kind of brings us to the filmmaking. I know that you came to BCTV a few years ago and worked on learning how to do video
Yeah,
film.
when I was really little.
Yeah. But you have continued on with that. And
Yeah.
you're in the middle of making a film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah, so I'm making a short film called Natural Means. We did 2 weekends of production, of filming, and it's been intense, stressful, and really, really fun.
Yeah.
And we had a crew of 12, maybe around 12 people. And the life that is brought by people coming together to make one piece of art, right? I was amazed with how it rose above this monster movie script I wrote, I don't know, sitting in the works. And it turned into this thing that is really deep and complicated. And I'm really excited.
That's very interesting, Leo. So did that group of people that you worked with, did you do like table reads? Were you working from a script that was already developed?
So I wrote the script at the beginning of the school year. Over 2 months, because that's how those things go. And
that's quick, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was a rush job, and I think 10 minutes of film, it came together. And I have a friend who does theater, actually went to La Mama with me. And so she signed on to be the star of the movie. And then I have, I don't know, other people who came in and kind of collected, coalesced, I don't know, made this big group. And then we needed an actor that was older. And so I went on Instagram, as all the kids do, and found some guy that lived in Burlington.
Oh, really?
And I texted him, and he was like, okay, fine. And so he came down and he did part of it. And then my partner is she does circus, and does contortion. So she came on and she played the monster. And that's my 3-person cast. And then there was a bunch of other people doing the lighting and all that
Doing production
stuff.
of different kinds. You've learned enough about production to be able to do a little bit of everything, it sounds like. You know about lighting, and also editing. Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's taken, since my sophomore year when I took the film class at the WRCC, it's taken a long time to get to because like you can learn a trade, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I've like gone to the next stage of like being good at a thing, right? But like you can learn a form of art, and then you can get to a place where you can incorporate it into another form of art. And so I feel like this year I really reached a place where I could take all these pieces of art and bring them together.
You know, and the other thing too is you have the body memory of being in front of an audience, of learning your lines, of being on the stage, and being an actor. I would think you're right, it all goes together. And so you were at the Career Center taking film, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was with Jesse Kreitzer?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunately, they no longer have that class available.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very sad. I hope it will come back. Going back to what you were saying about the collaborative aspect of doing this kind of production, so you're saying that you really feel that you got a fuller experience.
Yes. I think what we managed to capture on video and the performance by the 3 actors was definitely heightened by a collaborative process.
Yeah. You will be showing the film when it's complete. You'll probably start locally?
Yeah, I want to do festivals, definitely. But the Latches, if you're watching this, please.
John Potter. John Potter,
if you're out there.
That's great. And he has been doing quite a few small local things at the Latches. It's really great. It is our local theater in a bunch of wonderful ways. You're on the Restorative Justice Panel at the high school.
Yeah.
Now, this is peer-led. You're also a partner with the Brattleboro Community Justice Center. I'd like to hear about if you could describe the process.
Yeah, sure.
Like something happens at the school, right? Like walk us through it a little bit.
Okay, at the high school, well, in most institutions, when there is a violation of whatever conduct we have, usually the response is a punitive method of dealing with it, which is, in school's case, suspension, or I don't think people get expelled very often, but suspension, and then detention, right, which are all pretty harsh punishments. The restorative aims to bring people together to repair the harm instead of just punishing someone and then being like, it's fine, right? So how it works at the school is we do a process called intake, and a student has an interview with, usually it's John Kersey, who's running the program right now as the teacher overseer. And that person just is explained like what it means to be there. And then they can either opt to have a teacher-led conference or a student-led conference is where we come in. And or just not do the program at all. But if they decide to do it with us, that means that they'll be brought to, we'll do a circle, a restorative circle, and we'll follow a script, and we will facilitate a discussion between both parties of people, and then they'll come to an agreement of what happens, and then admin, in theory, don't know how much in practice, but in theory, is to enforce the agreement, right? I mean, we've had people that have violated the agreement immediately, and then it's just like, well, I guess punitive is the only other option, because unfortunately, there isn't very many options.
Yeah, right.
But restorative kind of is an open door to another potential way of dealing with.
Right.
Because if you really think about it, it's just hurt kids, right, who are pissed off about their living situations or how they are in the school, and so just sending them away only for them to do it again doesn't really do anything.
Right, and it's an alternative also to make amends.
Yeah.
You know, but also to, as you say, not be outright punished, but to come to an understanding.
And a lot of times, students realize that they're not actually mad at each other. Which is really...
You've seen that happen?
Oh, yeah. It's really interesting.
I'll bet it's really pretty...
They're like, wait, I just didn't understand. Like, sometimes there's people, and they're like, my friend told me this, blah, 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 and then that's where it all stems from. And then there's someone's like, wait, that's not even true. And they're like, oh, so I guess we're not actually mad at each other. And they're like, I guess our agreement is to not be mad at each other anymore. And then it's fine, and then it's done, right?
That's great.
I know, it's amazing, because it's like, I don't like the term of like authority watching over it, but I think being in a structured environment really helps.
Right.
Right.
And this is an alternative.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big deal for them to have an alternative.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. You know, speaking of this, I was thinking about, you know, we as adults are very concerned about kids and what we're leaving kids. You hear that a lot from adults. I don't want to leave my kids with this mess, blah, blah, blah. So I would like to ask you about climate. Climate meaning earth climate or political climate, local Brattleboro climate, high school climate. Any of those to weigh in on how you're feeling, how you're moving in these environments.
I think it's really complicated, because there's so much fear, and there's so much anger, and there's so much confusion on top of it, and there's so much helplessness, right? So one thing I was looking at, and I was interested in, and I saw people discuss, right, was this, not a military strategy, but it's called shock and awe.
Oh, yeah.
And it's where as a tactic for manipulation in victory, government or a military body does a bunch of seemingly random stuff in quick succession, right? And it makes the victim unable to pick something to defend against, right? And so there's been interviews with Conservative Party members who are like saying, we're gonna shock and awe them, right? That's actually a quote. I don't remember who said it, but I saw the video. And it's like, we're gonna shock and awe, we're gonna, like so many people have said it. And it basically means we're gonna do a bunch of crazy things. So the people, like the protesters, have to like be like, like what do I fight against? What am I worried about? Is it Medicaid being cut? Is it Social Security? Is it the Board of Education, right? Is it healthcare, women's healthcare? Is it trans healthcare? Is it there's so much, right? And will we have free speech? Are they going to deport people, right? The list goes on.
Yeah.
We could just sit here and list it. Cory Booker just listed it for 25 hours.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. It's
right?
amazing.
There's no one sitting down and actually teaching high school students what exactly is happening, like parallels to the Nazi regime.
Right.
Like
yeah.
so much. And I just think what young people need is an educator to come in, and of course the politicians know that we needed to be educated, so they're cutting the Board of Education because they don't want us to be educated. All I'm saying is that young people should read the news, and when they are upset about something, they shouldn't just be upset. They should like go out and protest or just make a demonstration.
Yeah. Are you seeing that at the high school, Leo?
No, I haven't seen a couple years ago there was a walkout, but there hasn't been protest or anything recently. Like when students organize a walkout at the high school, they ask administration, which I feel like defeats the point of a walkout, right? So I just feel like kids are so confused. They're like, what are we walking out for?
Right, right. It's the unsettling.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's not having a place to land. I understand that. What are your feelings locally about Brattleboro, like being in this community? Not necessarily in direct response to politics, but just in general.
So we moved here because 10, 12, 13 years ago, it was this little like Rivendell, you know, like this little like spot that was beautiful. And we lived in Brattleboro, and my mom would walk me in a stroller past, I don't know, we lived on Canal Street, so past the laundromat and the car wash, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would go out, and I love the car wash, but it's been interesting to watch it all change. And it's not, the fault I feel like lies with nobody, but the action that is being taken against it is not enough. And I don't know what to do, right?
Yeah, as a teenager, you know, or I guess we say youth now, we don't really say teenager, I know, but it's an old habit. You know, I think that it would be interesting to know how you and your friends are responding on a daily level. And I think, you know, watching the news is one way, but that also can induce more fear, I think. But in terms, like, does it affect your social life? Does it affect, I mean, you have these wonderful things like theater and music that you can partake of, you know, and you have mentors, you know, in the school to support you. Do you feel that you are, as a student, are supported in the school?
I definitely feel supported by most teachers. Counselors a little less, vice principals a little less, but that's just because you don't interact with these people very much. I feel like everyone's doing as much as they can. You know what I did stumble across the other day? That was really interesting to me. There is a plan in place if ICE comes to the high school, right? And I don't know if I don't think this is shared with students, but I did find it. And the plan was surprisingly reassuring. And it talked about laws of it was just like a sheet of paper, and it was like a judicial warrant is different than an administrative warrant. And if someone enters on an administrative warrant, which is like ICE authorized themselves to come in, we don't have to let them in, right? A judicial warrant, sure, we can let them in, but you need a specific warrant about a specific student with a specific situation in order for the school to actually allow something like that to happen. And even then, legally, it's like we are not required to give any information to them, even if they have a warrant, of where they live or anything like that. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And that actually surprised me. I feel like a lot of students are worried of what happens if it comes to us.
Right.
And I think it was reassuring to see that there is a plan.
Yes. In the midst of all of this, you've decided to take a gap year.
I have.
And I wonder if you could tell us just a little bit about that, making that decision, deciding to do that.
So I want to do art. I know. And it's really hard to make money at art. So basically what I'm saying is I want to do teaching. And but I feel like if I end up teaching straight out of high school, I go to college for teaching, and then I've got this degree and I come immediately back to high school. It's like I've never left school. And then it's also like, what could I possibly teach to people that they don't already know? It's not like I'm gonna have much more experience than them with those 4 years of school. So I feel like I want to go travel and explore and see the world and learn so I can then teach, because people that say they're teaching when they don't know anything are manipulators. I don't really want to do that. And
you want to get some experience, and you want to get out there and see the world, because you've been in Brattleboro for quite a while now. Yeah.
I went to Guatemala. I am going to Italy in a week.
Oh, great.
I know.
Is that BUHS program?
It's a school trip.
Great program, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, actually. It's expensive. Which is another thing we could talk about.
But it's available. It's available. I'm glad they've kept up that program. It's pretty great. Well, you've got a lot going on.
Yes.
And it's pretty exciting to see that. And your thoughtfulness also is really appreciated. It's nice to hear you talk about, your take on things and your experience of them. So, any parting words, Leo?
Any parting words? Yeah. If you're upset about something, do something about it. And good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And good luck.
And good luck.
And good luck.
That's a good one, yeah.
Leo, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
It's wonderful having you. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today and hearing from someone who is 17 years old and has done a whole bunch of stuff already, and thoughts on the world and our community. So stay tuned. We will be back next week. We'll have someone else from the community. You can check it out and see who that might be. We will see you then, and thank you.